Hi there, and welcome to The Change on a one-off podcast special. Today we're going to be talking about plant-based diets and all things surrounding them. I'm George, I'm the person who writes the blogs, and with me today is my housemate and friend Tyler. Introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, my name is Tyler the Map Lawrence. I study nutrition, exercise and health at Plymouth Uni. It's really enjoyable. And for the past year, I've been following a pretty strict vegan diet. So it makes sense that George has asked me on his podcast to talk about this stuff. It's really interesting. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for having me on your podcast. What was it called? The Change?
Yeah.
Brilliant name.
Yeah, thank you very much. Well, I came up with it myself, that.
There you go.
So today, as I mentioned, we're going to be talking about plant-based diets. And the first thing I kind of want to talk about today is why you changed to a plant-based diet. So for me personally, I changed to a plant-based diet because among ethical reasons and moral reasons for, I don't believe, animals should be killed for food.
Of course.
A main driver for me is the environmental reasons. The meat industry and even the dairy industry have massive environmental costs compared to a plant-based diet, which is proven scientifically to be, way less detrimental to the environment. But what about you? Why did you change over?
So about a year ago, it's probably over a year ago now, I watched that. I think we watched it together actually. The Game Changers.
Oh yeah, that was really good.
It was focusing on the emphasis of athletes who are vegan, and at the time, even now, I'm a fairly active person. I'm really into the gym, and I'm pursuing this powerlifting, almost career or journey in fitness. And my mindset originally was that a vegan diet, you don't get the same nutrients, you don't get the same input required for the output of all these things that are like required for a proper, a good or high level of performance, if anything.
So you were worried that switching to a different sort of diet might affect your performance in the gym,
incredibly.
and things like that.
I feel like I was almost falling victim to that stigma, that stereotype of vegans and vegetarians. They're not strong, not as fit. But I was completely wrong.
Yeah. So talk to me. Like, obviously, you've been vegan now for a year. And have you found this had any sort of difference in the gym? Like,
I think originally when I switched to being vegan, the one thing I did realize is whether it was my training or other supplements, I feel like it's definitely my diet. I was able to recover a lot quicker. For all those sports scientists out there, you understand what DOMS is, delayed onset muscle soreness. You go to the gym, you actually destroy a muscle group, and the next day you feel a bit sore. After going vegan, I realised that next day or two, I felt completely fine. I could absolutely obliterate chest, obliterate legs. I could go back into the gym the next day and be like, round two.
Okay, so what you're saying is actually you found it made a positive difference, and that stigma around not getting enough protein and things like that is actually not true, and it was the reverse effect for you.
Completely, yeah. No, I really enjoyed going vegan. I thought I thought it would be a lot harder, because all my life I just, ate meat. It was very regimented. It was one of those type of like chicken, rice, and broccoli type of meals.
The classic bodybuilder diet,
yeah,
really.
Day in, day out. Boring, but it doesn't really matter because I was like, as long as it's going in, I'm getting all the stuff that I need, and what was coming out was good performance. Then it doesn't really matter. Going vegan, I thought, it's going to be a lot more difficult, but it wasn't. I think the only thing that was difficult for that very short transition period was learning what you should eat, to get all this, the right nutrients.
Making sure that you're hitting those, nutrient targets and enjoying your meals. Because there's a big stigma around what vegetarians and vegans eat. Mm-hmm. There's the joke that they just eat leaves and things like that. But actually,
well, we do.
Well, that's it's not strictly untrue.
Yeah.
But I found my cooking and my skills in the kitchen have gotten better because I'm willing to put the effort in to try making new dishes and things.
Yeah, learn a little bit more.
Which actually brings me on to my next point, where we want to talk about some of the myths and I want to say conspiracies about being a vegan and vegetarian.
Okay, I'd like to hear these because I'm not too educated in the whole environmental side. Okay. Like I said, I do the health.
Yeah, so you're more the nutritional side and stuff like that.
I want to hear these.
Well, the first one I've got here, and it says swapping out beef and pork for nuts and avocados is worse for the environment than simply choosing to eat well-raised animals.
Is that to do with its transportation?
I assume the people behind this point are going, well, avocados come from abroad, they can't be grown locally in the UK. Well, they can.
it's Brazil, isn't it? That's the main, like. Do you know there's avocado gangs?
There's an avocado
There's
gang.
gangs. There's literally gang war over avocados in Brazil.
Well,
how mad is that?
That is mad. You
Anyway,
learn something new every day.
sorry,
I mean, green gold, right?
Green gold. There you go.
But the facts of the matter are, per kilogram,
Mhm.
avocados generate a quarter of the emissions of pork and 20th of beef.
That's mad.
And almonds generate nearly a quarter of the emissions of pork and a 17th of beef. So, you know, when we're looking at those numbers, generally plant-based foods are way less impactful on the environment.
Incredible.
And this is coming from Scientific Journal of Cleaner Production. So this isn't from, you know, a website or anything. This is scientifically produced and peer-reviewed studies.
Yeah, this ain't no like nonsensical drivel.
No, this is coming out of, you know, the important factual base.
The eggheads.
Yeah.
People far smarter than us.
Absolutely, no doubt. Right, so the second one here I've got is vegan food is bad for the environment because it's heavily imported and uses fossil fuels, so it's better to buy local animal products. So what they're insinuating here is that the travel miles and pollution caused by, you know, transportation, which was just mentioned really, but this goes into how buying local productive meat would be better.
I guess the thing you have to think about, like with animal products and stuff, you know, think about pigs and cows. It's the emissions that are sourced from that animal from just living. You know, all animals fart, they burp, they create these emissions, not just the transportation. So I can understand what you're about to shoot out now.
Well, here we go. This might amaze you. So, peer-reviewed meta-analysis of 1,530 studies by Science magazine. So, you know, the forefront of science journals.
The top dog.
Yeah. Showed that a plant-based diet is the most sustainable diet, with even the lowest impact beef being responsible for 6 times the greenhouse gas emissions and 36 times more land compared to plant proteins such as peas.
That's mad.
It's absolutely crazy, isn't it?
That's ridiculous.
36 times
Where
more.
Where do these myths come from? Who
Well, I guess it's just a stigma because people don't want change. They don't like change.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's that public stigma around not wanting to change the way they are or accept the fact that maybe what they're doing is wrong.
Yeah, you know what? That's absolutely right. It's difficult, especially when you've been brought up and raised one way. You know, it doesn't matter what age you are. You know, think about my dad who's in his 60s. If I tell him to stop eating chicken, he's going to be like, you what? You know, that's difficult, you know, as it is. But, yeah, I can understand why people enforce these crazy ideas.
People have set in their ways, they've had tradition for their whole life. It's difficult to break out of a routine.
It is.
You know, we weren't doing it for that long, you know, 20-odd years. And it was still difficult for us to break out of it. But, you know, I'm glad we did.
Yeah, too right.
And finally, the final myth I want to squander is soya. Good word, isn't it? Soya has received fierce criticism for its role in deforestation in South America. So it comes about with claims such as vegans are destroying the planet with soya.
God, vegans are evil, honestly.
Right, aren't they?
Aren't
they just not wanting animals to be killed?
Yeah, exactly.
Strange that. But the fact of the matter is 75 to 80% of the world's soybean crop is actually grown for farmed animals.
Yeah, you know what? I actually read this fact the other day. That's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah. It's crazy that actually 80% of all the soy grown is being fed to other animals when it could just be fed straight to us.
Yeah,
we could skip the middleman and skip the cows and all the, you know, the animals that require this food.
Yeah.
So furthermore, as much as 95% of the soy grown in the Amazon is farmed for animals. So the claim that vegans are destroying the Amazon through soya.
Well, it's not.
I mean, you'd like to think 90
people encouraging animals, you know.
It's the complete opposite. Now, I obviously don't agree with any deforestation, but 5% is much better than 95% in my eyes.
You know what's really interesting? I think in my first year we were learning about like different carbohydrates like mass produced globally. They were talking about wheat production. I think it was about 70 to 75% of global wheat production is used for agricultural use, for like feeding animals. Whereas in actual fact, you could use it to feed, you know, the poor basically. There's a huge hunger crisis, and like if we just stopped eating animals, then we could redistribute this source of food to people that actually need it.
Exactly. So we
It's
can
mental, isn't it?
redistribute this food from the places that we're pouring it in
Yeah.
over a long period of time as well. And it's not
Yeah.
just food, it's water.
Yeah.
The water consumption, especially for beef, is ridiculously high. And you know, we've got water shortages all over the world, especially you know in places like we've had major droughts this year in California and Australia,
Yeah,
causing
I've heard that.
massive wildfires.
Yeah.
Some of the biggest California I've ever seen. You know, thousands and thousands of people
Climate
displaced.
change, man. Climate
Yeah,
change.
climate change. It is mounting up.
It's real, you know.
Yeah.
Trump, I don't know what Trump's talking about, but he's a madman if he doesn't think it's real. His own country is burning. It's burning down.
I think we all know that Trump's a bit of a
he's
bit of a crazy man, isn't he?
Are we allowed to say that on a podcast?
Yeah, we are on my podcast.
We can get away with it.
Yeah, of course. Right. Well, that's all for today, guys. But
Too
thank you very much for listening. If you liked it, give us a like. You know, write comment. And
Comments.
I'd like to say thanks to Tyler for being part of this.
Thank you for letting me on. This was actually a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the supplements that you gave me.
And what he's trying to say there is he's enjoyed the beer I put in front of him. But thanks very much, guys, and have a lovely day.
Bye.